We want to bring in Fox News contributor Josh Ritter on the breaking news. He's a former prosecutor with more than 20 years of experience. He lives outside he's live outside for us right now, outside the Pima County Sheriff's Office. I'm looking at this statement right now, Josh.
And there are the photos. So this is the photos that Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, released today. These are the 4 photos he released. There's actually a 5th photo of an assailant, or whatever you may want to call it, outside her front door the night she disappeared. And I don't want to say kidnapped, but I'm just going to say disappeared. But this is the guy. And this is the guy. And it's funny, if you go on X and you look at some of the comments about these pictures, a lot of people are like, it looks like a woman. Well, you're a fucking retard. This is a guy. This is a dude. And you can't tell. It's the black and white photos. You can't tell if he's white, Hispanic, or black. You can't. Only thing you can tell is right here is he has a mustache. Maybe a little bit of the hair below the lip. But you can't tell what race he is in black and white photos. You can't. But let's watch the rest of the video.
Forgive my distraction, from the FBI director as he released these new photos to the public. He also released a statement. It reads, quote, "Over the last 8 days, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department have been working closely with our private sector partners to continue to recover any images or video footage from Nancy Guthrie's home that may have been lost, corrupted, or inaccessible due to a variety of factors, including the removal of recording devices. The video was recovered from residual data located in back-end systems. Working with our partners, as of this morning, law enforcement has uncovered these previously inaccessible new images showing an armed individual appearing to have tampered with the..."
And why were they previously inaccessible? Explain that to me. Why were they previously inaccessible? These aren't part of the Epstein files. Like, seriously, they're not part of the Epstein files. So why should they be inaccessible? If you're making this a global situation, this should have been accessible from day one once you got them.
Camera at Nancy Guthrie's front door the morning of her disappearance. Anyone with information, please contact 1-800-CALL-FBI or visit the website to offer any leads or tips. So, Josh, your thoughts as you take in these pictures with us together?
It's absolutely remarkable development. Residual data from back-end systems. Just an hours ago, we thought this case had come to an absolute brick wall and that they were asking the public for any kind of tip.
It was a brick wall from day one because the entire investigation was fucked because of the stupid-ass sheriff who, within a day or two, was at a basketball game. He didn't have the wherewithal to think this was extremely important, even though it's a rich person, that he went to a basketball game and he didn't give 2 shits about what was going on.
And you have to applaud the agents of the FBI and the Department of Justice for the hard work that they put into this.
I'm not applauding anybody. Fuck all of them. So they had these pictures days ago. They just decided to release them today. Why would I applaud that?
And I will say, coming as a prior prosecutor, this is incredibly valuable evidence. And I know people may be looking at this and saying, well, you can't see the person's face, you can't see their hair, there's no identifying features. What I am so encouraged by is how clear these photos are. This is not surveillance. When we first heard about reporting that they had photos, we were thinking it might have been surveillance from the surrounding area that would show a grainy picture from afar. This is from the home. So that we know that this person who they've identified or described as a subject is in fact what I would call a suspect. The photographs are very, very clear, and someone is going to recognize this person. They're going to recognize the clothing.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I don't know if you can see the arrow, but you probably can't see the arrow that I'm using with my mouse, but the very first picture on the left, that outfit, you should be able to determine that outfit. I don't know the brands. I can't see it myself. But the brands. The brand of that jacket. So, I don't know about you, but me, when I buy a jacket, I wear that motherfucker almost every day. Especially if it's cold out, right? Because I spent tons of money on that jacket. So I'm going to wear it all the day. So someone should recognize that jacket. The jeans, no. The sneakers, maybe. The gloves and the mask, no. We're not going to know. But that jacket, I feel like, is something that someone would recognize.
They're going to recognize the gloves. They're going to recognize the mask. This is very powerful evidence, not only in furthering the investigation, but potentially at a trial. And I'm very encouraged by it.
So, I mean, how remarkable is it that they managed, the FBI that is, to dig these images off of what Sandra said were back-end systems? I mean, this really is sort of the difference between the Pima County Sheriff and federal law enforcement, that they were able to glean these images. And as you point out, I mean, the camera appears to be, I've got the same camera, it appears to be in night vision mode, and has managed to snap off some remarkably clear pictures.
No shit.
Of this person of interest. So, Josh, I mean, what a technical feat the FBI has managed to pull off here.
Come on, man. Don't be glazing the FBI. It's not a technological feat. If anybody has a camera at their house, like I use Nest or whatever the fuck it's called. I have light bulbs in my outdoor fixtures that have cameras in them. They're fisheye cameras. So it was like $30 for each bulb. It's a light bulb with a camera in it. I have 3 of them on the front of my house and 2 on the back. It doesn't require a lot of intelligence from the FBI to retrieve this footage. It does not. So it's not like a technological advance that the FBI did something that every normal human being can fucking grab themselves. Really?
Absolutely amazing. You're right. When this was first described to us, we were told that the camera had been disconnected, that there was no subscription service, and that there was no video to recover, and full stop. As if this were a dead-in-the-water lead and there was nothing to be done with it. And they did not stop there. They continued to dig. And again, he describes it as residual data located in back-end systems, meaning they had to go somewhere in the haystack of information and find this one needle here.
Haystack of information. All you had to do was say, okay, so she has a service. Contact the service. I need this information. And then you have a time and date stamp. So it's not a haystack of information. Oh, it happened at 3 a.m. on February 1st. I did the information from January 31st until February 2nd. How's that a haystack? How's that a haystack? It's very specific. Like, you know what time frame you need.
And it's proving to be incredibly powerful. And to a point that you made earlier, we're also learning something about the person who committed this crime, because they did come prepared. They came with a backpack. They came with gloves. They came masked up. They knew to look for a camera. This,
like most criminals do. Most criminals do that, right? Unless you're in Los Angeles, because they don't get held accountable for theft.
This is a person that came with premeditation and intent to commit a crime, likely a crime of violence, certainly a crime along the lines of kidnapping where they did not want to be detected. That's giving us a lot of information as well.
So Josh, just getting it.
So you just basically, I'm sorry for cutting this off, but it's like, it's so fucking, these people are so retarded. So you basically described a common criminal. Aside from in California, where you could just run into a business and steal shit without covering your face or whatever and wearing gloves, you can just steal whatever you want to in California. But in most crimes, most people premeditated will wear a mask, gloves, and think ahead of time to prevent leaving evidence. So these guys are praising the FBI for a common issuance from someone walking in and preparing for a crime. Fucking idiots.
Into the details here as the public is taking in these pictures for the first time. When you look at screen left, I assume there are people who have enough experience looking at photos like this where they can, they can go into that front porch area outside the front door there, measure up the bricks, and start to estimate how tall this person is, for example.
You're absolutely right. They can reverse engineer the height and weight of this person.
They can.
You know, with AI technology,
Yeah.
they can start to search through the other data that they may have recovered from other cameras in the area to try to match this image against the voluminous amount of data that they have to try to pinpoint this down. This is a real.
So, you know, someone's talking out their ass when they struggle to speak. Like, you hear me talking randomly, right? I'm talking about things, but I'm not stuttering. I don't use the word like every 5 seconds. When you hear these guys talk like that, then you know they're talking out their ass. They have no fucking clue how to answer the question. You know, they don't know what the fuck they're saying. So don't take these people with a grain of salt. That's all I'm telling you. Take them with a grain of salt. They have no clue what the fuck they're talking about.
Really hot beginning to what I hope will be a turn in the investigation, and that they're releasing this to the public too. That's going to be a way of solving this by crowdsourcing.
But, and again, I'm sorry, but it's like releasing this to the public. These pictures were achieved days ago, but we're just now releasing this to the public. It wasn't like they got them today when they were released. They had these pictures days ago, and they're just now releasing this to the public. Like, shut the fuck up.
This and allowing people in the local area to take a look at this person. There may be somebody looking at this right now who absolutely can identify that person just from the way they're standing,
I
just
doubt
from
it.
their clothing.
I doubt it.
There may be more images forthcoming as well because,
I doubt it.
as I said, I've got the same camera system, the Nest camera.
Sure you do.
It doesn't take still images.
'Cause you're
It takes
rich.
video. And I'm wondering, Josh, if these still images were gleaned from a video, which could tell us more. If we see images or video of the person walking up, then you get a gait analysis potentially, and maybe some other things as well.
No, you're absolutely right. Those videos, by the way, I have one of those cameras on my home, also capture audio.
Okay,
So
bro.
we don't know if there's an attendant audio file to these captured images. You're right. If there's attendant video, there's going to be a press conference, we hope soon, where they might release some more of that information. But I agree with you. We could be getting the way that this person carries themselves, the way that this person walks. We could be hearing audio. That person may be speaking to someone. You know, I mean, there's just, you can imagine all the possibilities of what they could get out of this small bit of evidence.
Right.
Okay, so they're up on the screen now. How does AI play in here? I mean, I start to think about how you can take these images and you can start to ask, where was the sweater purchased? Where did the gloves come from? Where did the jeans come from? I mean, how is the advanced technology going to play into looking at these images and finding this person?
So, you know what's funny about that question? Is that the FBI will struggle with this. But you take these pictures and you put them online and you allow some of the biggest nerds online in the internet, and they will spend 3 hours, maybe less, and they will find out where this shit was purchased at, what brand it is, and they'll have the information, the receipts of who bought it before the FBI will. That's the fucked up part. Is that's why I look, there's a lot of reasons why I hate the internet, okay? But I like the internet and reasons why there are people who live for this shit. And they will see this and they will find out what merchandise that is, where it was bought at, and who bought it. They'll get the fucking receipts. And they will find out who did it. And they'll know it before the FBI will. It'll take the FBI 3 months. But it'll take an internet nerd 2 to 3 hours to find out. God love America, right?
Destabilization
Of course we got
across
it.
nations, across
We got
countries,
it.
across continents.
You're right, and I imagine everything that we are sitting here in the last few minutes trying to imagine that they can do with that, they've already been running with it. The FBI, I mean, the same agents who have done the remarkable work of finding this are now working on trying to identify those gloves. Where are those gloves made? Where are those types of gloves sold? I mean, even just think about that map.
I mean, that picture right there is a good picture. That's a good picture. And that wasn't released in the original photos of the picture. So all the pictures were originally darkened. This one's whitened a little bit so you can get a little more, I don't know, information on what you're seeing in the picture. And I guarantee you, there's an internet nerd out there right now who's taking this photo and finding out what these products are. I guarantee you. And it would take the FBI months. But it would take an internet nerd to find out what this shit is within hours. I guarantee you. And then probably by, I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock tonight, Eastern time, which is 4 or 5 hours from now, we'll see posts on X or wherever, not Reddit, because Reddit doesn't give a fuck, but on X or whatever, where people have figured out what these products are, and they'll have the culprit within 5 hours. Like, fuck the FBI. Like, there's no point funding the FBI or CIA because they take forever. And when they find out the information, they don't release it because they don't think any of us need to know. But in my opinion, this whole thing is done by the family. This whole thing is done by the family.
That's not a common item. That's not sold at every, Target and Walmart. That is something that I imagine they could track down where something like that could be sold.
No.
Same with the jacket. I think we even have a full-length photo of this individual.
It's a specific brand.
Perhaps their footwear. Lot of information can be gleaned from this, and like we already said, who knows if there's even more that was attended to these files that were being released right now.
Hey, Josh, it's John again. I said that there might be some video. Kash Patel has just released.
Like, that's a good photo right there. And I can't zoom in, but you think they'd be able to zoom in with the technology we have today? To zoom in, there's got to be a logo somewhere. A logo somewhere, right? Because every company has to have their logo front and centered on everything. Like Phillies, this sweatshirt, the logo's behind my neck, unfortunately, but so that makes me look like an idiot. But like, you have logos are usually front and centered. So I'm sure if they have the technology, they could zoom in and see the logo on this this jacket. It's not a sweater. It's not really a jacket, but like a sweatshirt or whatever. I don't know.
Video that these photos were taken from, these still images, which we're ingesting into our system. And there is a lot of video of this guy coming up to the front door. Here's the actual video. We're watching it. This is after he...
So this is the... Hold on a second. This is the actual video. Let's go back a little bit.
Now.
Hey, Josh, it's John again. I said that there might be some video. Kash Patel has just released video that these photos were taken from, these still images, which we're ingesting.
So what the fuck? So why did Kash Patel release the photos before the video? Why didn't you release the video first? And then you could drop some stills, whatever you want. Why didn't we release the video first? Video is more incriminating than still photos, in my opinion.
Into our system, and there is a lot of video of this guy coming up to the front door. Here's the video. Actually, we're watching it. This is after...
And I've never seen this before. I haven't seen the video. I've only seen the stills. So this video, I'm watching it for the first time with you.
He was at the door, I believe. Yeah, okay, so here he's coming up to the door, sort of scoping out the doorbell here. And at some point up in the future here, in the next couple of seconds, he turns around and he goes and picks up some sort of a plant and comes back with the plant, which it looks like he's using to obscure the video. And then I think he tries to remove it. There, see, he's going to the garden. He picks something up. Looks like some sort of plant. And then he starts, this is a repeat of the same video we just saw.
Is there any audio here or no?
No, there doesn't appear to be at this point. But the next video, he's got a plant in his hand. He's trying to obscure the images. So, Josh, we're getting a lot of information.
So I call bullshit. I call bullshit on the audio part. So I have, let me see. I got it on my phone. Hold on. I use Next HT Cam. That's the app I use with my. So I have several lights and cameras on the front and back of my house, and the program is called Next HT Cam. So, and this is like one of the lowest tier fucking applications on security cameras. And if they're using what they're using, it's upscale. They're spending tons of money on this. But mine provides audio. So it's not just video, it provides audio. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me sign in and show you. I'll show you. So front door. That's front door. That's my front door. That's live. And there's audio. There's audio. Can you hear that? There's audio to that. That's my front porch. So to say that they didn't get audio from that is horrible. And I have probably the cheapest version of this as far as security cameras on my house. So if they're paying upscale, they have audio. So they're fucking lying. They're hiding the audio.
He turns fully around and you can see the backpack. Now you can go to sports stores and say, where did this backpack come from? So there's a lot more information that we're learning here.
You're absolutely right. And what stands out to me, too, is that remember how much we've talked about that area and how dark it is, and that you can barely see what's in front of your own eyes. And I know it was a full moon, but he's under the portico there where it's probably very dark. He has no trouble identifying that there's a camera there. It's almost as if he knows there's a camera there, because it does appear as though he's trying to block the camera's vision of his face, first with his glove and then perhaps with a plant before he has the opportunity to remove it from where it's positioned. This to me, I think you can easily kind of draw some conclusions here. It might be reasonable to say that was familiar with that area, was familiar with the camera's location, and came prepared.
Build a website you love with Wix.
Another ad, of course.
For your words, create your brand, your opportunity, your breakthrough.
Boom.
Okay, so this is a second new video coming into us right now. We're turning it, and you can watch it with us together. This is the plant that he pulled from there. I keep a plant identifier on my phone, John. I just ran the picture through there. It appears to be a rose bush, from what we can tell. But to your point, John, it looks like it's an attempt to obscure the camera while he's dismantling it.
It's interesting that why would he pull a plant as opposed to just covering it with his hand? I'm not quite sure that I get the strategy there. Hey, Josh, thank you. Stand by with us. Let's bring in Jason Pack, former FBI agent and hostage negotiator. Don't know if you've had a chance, Jason, to see the videos that we're looking at here, but we've got probably 30 seconds of video, if not a little bit more, of this person walking up to the door, turning around, going back to the garden, walking back up to the door again, and then fiddling with a plant that he pulled out of the garden for some reason. What do you see as a former investigator in the video that we're looking at?
And look, I already know. I'm bitching about the fact that we're spending 24/7 on this woman when there are thousands of people out there who get kidnapped every day. Why is this woman more important than everybody? We know why this woman's more important than everybody else, because her daughter is a multimillionaire, right? And everybody else, it doesn't matter. But I'm watching this because I just want to show how stupid this investigation is. Now, that doesn't mean I'm smarter than the FBI or the CIA or the fucking sheriff's department. But as a human being watching this, I can tell you, just based on reality, what doesn't make sense. Just throwing that out there, okay? All right?
Well, it looks like the FBI has found the proverbial needle in the haystack. Their computer scientists, partnered with the private sector folks there at the
No, they
Nest company,
didn't.
have really done a tremendous job in being able to provide a break in this case. It looks to me like there's some avenues of investigation for sure. Again, we've talked about how there's always been this other avenue of investigation that's been going on, even though we've been talking about the kidnapping part. Well, this is evidence of just that happening. You see him coming up and obscuring his identity, but what's interesting is there's going to be agents that put a team of agents on the backpack, a team of agents on the shoes, a team of agents on the jeans. There's going to be people digging into this at such a microscopic level that I think they're going to be successful in actually bringing some.
And again, that's funny. See, he's saying, there's going to be a team of agents on the shoes, the backpack, when just give this job to the internet nerds. The internet nerds will find this information out in 1/10 of the time that the FBI will take. I guarantee you. You give this to Brandon in Milwaukee. That kid was probably with some Mountain Dew or some Red Bull and some fucking candy is constantly looking this shit up and looking up the products, and he will find the culprit within fucking 3 hours. He'll send the information to the FBI and the FBI won't respond. I guarantee you.
Information back if they've not already. It's also remarkable, John,
Call
as
me
you
a
mentioned,
liar.
In the gait analysis there, so somebody can watch him walk. I remember in the Boston Marathon bombings, we had grainy pictures and they weren't really ready to release, and so we had to keep working in these video canvases in the neighborhoods and in the businesses around there to make sure we got a picture that would provide what we call investigative value. And this photo definitely will have investigative value. It's not grainy at all, as you mentioned. The technology's there, and it's still pretty remarkable to see that when once thought that there was no evidence like this available, that the FBI computer scientists, the people at CART, the private sector coordinators, and working with those private sector companies have been able to provide this piece of information that will be critical in the case.
Jason, what do you take away from the pace at which he's approaching the door? He kind of calmly backtracks to go grab a piece of this plant to then go back to the camera. I mean, doesn't appear to be in a rush, doesn't even appear to really be, well, he looked up there once, but doesn't seem to be concerned about somebody, seeing him in that moment. It is in the wee hours of the morning. It's pitch black, as we know. There's no street lights out there. But what do you take about the away from the way about he's doing this and the pace at which he's doing it?
I love that there's a Nancy Guthrie tip line. And I absolutely encourage people to call the tip line and tell them how much of a fucking idiot they are. Because, again, the internet will probably solve this crime before the FBI does. Here, let me put that in here. So, you see it right at the bottom. So, 1-800... call FBI. Like, that's supposed to be, there we go. That's the number you need to call to let the FBI know that they're fucking idiots and that a normal internet person could spend 3 hours to find out anything that they don't know. Like, seriously. It's a joke. A joke.
Sandra, that's a good observation. I don't really see a sense of urgency there, if that's what you're saying. He's not running up and hiding and then kicking in the door. He's pretty methodical about this. So I don't know. You could say that he might be familiar with the place, or he just was taking his time because he thought the cover of darkness was protecting him, all before that camera that he caught on the doorbell there.
So, Jason, we've wondered how all of this went down. And from what you're seeing here, the fact that he's taking his time, doesn't appear to be in any rush, does this suggest that this was a single assailant operation, or could this person have been tasked with
I don't
taking
think
care
so.
of whatever was at the front door, while maybe there are other people who are elsewhere around the house? What is your investigation?
It's obviously not a single assailant because it involves the family. In my opinion, and if I'm wrong, then you can tell me I'm wrong. But I think the family is involved with this. That includes Samantha Guthrie. It involves her, her sister, and her brother. I don't think the brother is involved. I don't. So Samantha and her stupid ass looking fucking sister, I think are involved. The brother, I don't think he's involved. So it's not a single assailant.
Spider sense tell you about that?
Well, it's much easier when you're working on the other side as an agent with all the facts. So on this side, it could tell you that given Mrs. Guthrie's mobility issues, it could suggest that there may be another person. But right now, all we have is this one particular solid piece of evidence. And I think what you'll see now, John and Sandra, is the video canvases that are still continuing. We've heard about the gas station videos that they've been canvassing. The agents are out there every day, along with Pima County, going to recover these videos in a forensic method, not just taking a screenshot of those things and bringing them back. They're going out there, they're diving into the brains and the guts of these VCR systems at these gas stations and these other places and residences around the area there. They're bringing all this back. And again, we keep talking about that timeline, but it's critical. So now there's an exact time, an exact date that they're able to put this piece of information on that timeline, and that narrows that window of opportunity down more. So now they're working with more solid times, and they're working with more solid information as well as some photos there that they're able to work backwards and just trace those steps, but both before he got there and hopefully after he left.
Okay.
Okay, Jason, thank you very much. We want to bring in former FBI investigator Bill Daly. Bill, you have extensive experience specifically with your career in the FBI and special photography and the part of the FBI lab division. So you know what to look for in these images. What do you take away from them?
Yeah, thanks, Sandra. And certainly these are extremely helpful, very, very helpful. I think you talked about in your earlier segment about perhaps being able to get some height measurements based upon some fixed objects. That's all very possible. I think also the clarity of these images, and these are the first ones we're seeing, and obviously they seem to almost be coming in almost by the moment, both the fixed as well as the video images. And not only just as a testament to kind of the retrieval process and working with the private sector in kind of culling through all of this kind of tremendous metadata that's out there and perhaps hidden away in some unallocated space files on disks, etc. So I think the big thing here is the fact that we have so much now more detail with regard to the image of this person. We have a face mask, which appears to be a ski mask. We'll be able to determine a certain height. The clothing is extremely helpful, and I'm telling you right now is that there are people out there who know who this person is based upon the clothing. Perhaps the...
And again, they are the internet nerds. And I call them nerds empathetically, right? With passion. Because they do a great job. And they're sitting there with their Mountain Dew and their fucking Chipotle burritos and shit. And they're constantly typing and looking. And they're going to find out who this guy is. The FBI cannot fucking do this. They cannot. The FBI can't do it. But we have these guys who are in the basements of their mom's houses or whatever, their solo apartments, and they can find out who the fuck this guy is within 2 to 3 hours. And the FBI, it would take them 6 months. So I make fun of these people, but I commend them because they are fucking geniuses.
The
Immediately
being offered now
genius.
is an incentive for people to kind of help out, but also now they have much more to deal with. They have much more to kind of base their perhaps suggestions of a suspect to the authorities on. So I think this is extremely helpful. I think also say is that, and as we have kind of advances in AI and we have kind of recreation of kind of historic images from crime scenes based upon general kind of criteria, what I mean in this is that even by the kind of the structure of the person, the height, the weight, and some of the general features on the face, from the eyes and even the shape of the face, they may be able to almost kind of come up with a unmasking of this person. At least to get a general view, not an exact image, but perhaps a general.
I mean, this guy didn't think this out. So the mask did not hide his mustache. So what you could usually do is take this picture of this guy with the mustache and compare it to everybody who knows this woman. And I think there's one guy that they've compared it to so far, and that is the husband of the sister of Samantha Guthrie. I may have that wrong, but there's a guy who has a mustache. So if you look at if you can see the picture, if he has a goatee, then we can separate that. But we see there's a mustache. There's a mustache going on there.
Image of what this person may look like. So I think all these things are coming together. Sandra and John, I think the big thing here is that it also now is kind of that dropping that kind of that point on the map. It's kind of saying we now have an image. We now can go out and look across the spectrum at all of the images that have either been already gathered or ones they can gather from various establishments, whether it's gas stations, whether it's stores, whether it's other cameras on doors or buildings they had already, and they didn't know what they were looking for. Now they know, at least even without the face, the clothing, what they're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, you look back to Luigi Mangione, and he was wearing something to disguise his face, but then there were other photos from him in other places where he didn't have the mask on, and he became identifiable through various means. I just was looking at...
Yeah, exactly. I know I cut this off so much. I'm so sorry. But it's like with all other crimes, they have all this information. They get video, picture, GPS, cell phone technology. They can find a guy within days. But this is taking 10 days, and they have no idea. Like this one case? Come on, bro. Come on, man. If you or I went out and kidnapped somebody tonight, they would find out who the fuck we are within less than 24 hours. You'd be handcuffed and in jail if it was you or I. I don't recommend doing it, but if it was you or I, we'd be in jail immediately.
Savannah Guthrie's Instagram.
Anybody else?
One of the photos
Every case.
Of this potential subject holding up the plant in front of the Nest doorbell, and she says, "We believe she is still alive. Bring her home." So the fact that this appears to be extraordinarily organized.
I feel like Savannah's in on it. I really do.
As opposed to
I feel like
somebody,
she's in on it.
randomly in the neighborhood broke in.
Whatever, man.
Robbery gone wrong. Does this suggest that this was an orchestrated kidnapping to you?
I do.
Well, Joe, there are a couple of things that in
it's
my
an orchestrated
mind, in some ways
kidnapping.
kind of rule that at least on the sidelines. I'm not a firm believer in it because we found that over the years that people who are kidnapped usually taken from places that they're not comfortable in. Either they're out in a car, they're in a parking lot, they're walking down the street, someplace where they don't suspect it. Usually in a home, you have a couple of factors. One is that it's the place where the person is most comfortable in. They can run, hide. It makes it much more difficult to grab someone. And also the people who are conducting it are taking an extremely much more risk, like in this case, where the risk is that the images could be captured. They may have not known whether or not someone else was in the home. They would have had to maybe overcome that person. There may be somebody driving by who could see them as they're exiting. So there's much more risk for people who are looking to kind of commit a kidnapping in that regard. So I don't totally dismiss it, but I think there's some factors here that indicate that perhaps it was something else. It was maybe a robbery. I think based on maybe people knowing about the home, maybe feeling or hearing that there may be some valuables, and gone in to commit a robbery and something else happened as a result of it.
Bill, really quickly before you leave, you can stay with us as well, stand by as we're going to bring in other experts on this. When I look at the picture of him fully standing up, and you can see out to the drive there, and what almost looks like a mailbox, you don't see a vehicle parked, at least in the immediate sight of the camera, indicating either parked farther away or parked down the street, but it's not pulled right up to the walkway.
I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point.
You're right, and I think early on, and we discussed the things, Sandra, early in
That's
this
a good
case,
point.
that my feeling was that there was more than one person possibly involved in this. Reason being is that if you had this person, or another person entering the home. At some point, if we don't see the camera, or we don't see a vehicle here in these images, that someone else would have had to bring a vehicle around to the front of the home. And so it could be, two people working in concert, which certainly increases the opportunity for people to know who these individuals are and to come forward with some information that may help the investigators further.
All right, Bill, thank you very much.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily.
So I absolutely agree. Like that was a good point at the end where she stated that it didn't seem like there was a video in the picture. They could have walked from a certain point, and that's a good thing to pick up on. So I give her a lot of credit for that. Like, they didn't park directly in front, which was smart of them, or they just didn't think about it. They parked maybe a block down or 2 blocks down, and walked up.